How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I am going mad. I'm losing my mind.
I'm in the same boat. I don't think I was ever prepared for something like this. And now I don't really know what to do because I've already taken 2 showers today and cooked 3 times. And I'm still sitting here like, what do we do? So, Ron, I wanted to have you on tonight because I have some fun games set up for you. I also have some questions about the NBA and then you personally. But before we get started, I want you to just tell the audience who you are, where you're from, kind of a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get going here. Oh, wait. Before we start, I need to know your favorite song. Your favorite song of all time.
Favorite song of all time.
First one that comes to mind.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
Good
Cool.
answer.
Now tell us a little bit about you.
So I was born in Philadelphia, and then I came across the river into Jersey and stayed here ever since. South Jersey, though, not you Northerners. That place sucks. Kenny knows what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Wow.
A few months ago now, before the men's volleyball season had started, we went and did the alumni match at Kean. And I was like driving up the Parkway, and like the Parkway is fine in South Jersey, but as soon as you get like past 130 on the Parkway, all of a sudden like everyone's an asshole. I just realized like, oh my God, like I went to school here for 5 years and I just now am remembering how angry I always was all the time. And I was like, it's just because it's North Jersey. And I got out of that place and I live in relaxed South Jersey now.
Tell us a little bit about your volleyball experiences, like how you started playing, what position you first played, and then a little bit about your journey.
So I definitely have a different journey than most guys, I would say. I was a 5'3" tall freshman in high school, like maybe 120 pounds with a little subcutaneous on the front side. Like I was a 3-sport person. I knew that was going to happen. I was in junior high as well. Like I liked playing a lot of different sports. And springtime rolled around in high school, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. The tennis coach wanted me to play tennis, but I'm not going to play tennis. So I signed up for volleyball. Played 1 season as essentially a libero. I was, again, really, I could almost walk under the net. Like Justin knows what I'm talking about. And
yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I spent a year as basically a libero, played JV. We didn't have a freshman team, so I played JV. And then sophomore year, big bad 5'8" guy. This is a true story. There was a kid who was a senior. He was a setter. His block was this high, and my block was about that high.
Oh.
So I set out of the middle.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for three years playing volleyball, setting out of the middle, it was interesting. And Joe Gillespie never had an assistant coach. The school wouldn't pay for it, but he did what he could. And some of the things he did in hindsight, I wish he had trained me more properly. Like he was all about like, just face the person you're going to set. So it didn't matter if I was setting an outside or setting a right side or setting back row. He was just like, just face the person that you're going to set.
Well, so what else did Joe do in the practice space? Because I know that guy playing against him. He's a super energetic, mostly angry, it seemed like. As far as the practice space and training under him, what did he do in the practice space and what did you learn from him?
I learned a lot from him. Honestly, I would say most of what I learned from him was in staying after practice. Me and him would play one-on-one after practice a lot. And I mean like full court one-on-one games, no mercy.
Nice.
If you can hit the ball, hit the ball. If you can ace me 25 times, ace me 25 times. And then afterwards we'd have a Coke and a smile. That was always Joe's thing. Regular practices were a little interesting. He was constantly just looking to find athletic people and bring them in to play volleyball, which is a little bit of a challenge. A lot of the kids that played football and basketball wanted to do track. So getting those guys away from track and getting them into volleyball is a little tricky. And a lot of guys would come in for, a couple weeks during the season and then just kind of fizzle out, whether it was outside issues or they just wanted to do something else. I would say my first year of practices as a setter, my sophomore year, Joe would hand me a ball and he had this big contraption with a trash can that he made on the basketball net that would send the ball back to you if you made it in. And he would say, stand at the free throw line and toss the ball and set it into the basket. And then do that like 50 times. And then toss the ball, turn around and back set it into the basket and do that like 50 times. So my like first half of every practice was just setting into the basketball net. And then he would go work with other people on like whatever skills they needed. The only time that I was ever able to get like more attention Because like once you had a skill down that you needed, and he knew you were someone that would work on it, he would just kind of put you out and work on it. But we had like some older guys that would come back, and that was always a good time.
I want to fast forward here a little bit, because that journey to like now, when did you graduate high school? What year?
2011.
So 9 years later, you're playing on Team Freedom in the NBA, a professional level team, playing against some of the best players in the country. You've been all over the country and even the world at this point. You've played in different places. For young volleyball players that might be watching, or other coaches or players that don't know you, what is a goal of yours for Team Freedom for the NBA?
Oh, I want to win the entire team. But I'm not really a big individual accolades guy. I've spent a lot of my career, whether it's true or not, I don't talk to a lot of people about it. Cheesy saying, but the chip on the shoulder idea.
Sure.
Like I've always felt, I think a lot of it comes to the fact that I didn't play clubs. So I didn't know a lot of people coming in, playing college, and then coming in and joining with Team Freedom. I didn't know a lot of the guys before that. I don't know. I always felt like I was being viewed skeptically. So I've always spent basically my whole career like, no, like I'm just as good as you. I think a lot of times, especially during college, I thought I was better than I actually was. But a lot of it was me looking towards the future. Like if I look back, I was actually, given how much time we have at home right now, I was looking at like really old film. I was actually looking at a video Kenny had posted up. It was Swagger versus Kean from a tournament
way long ago,
8 years ago or something crazy. And like looking at myself in hindsight, it was like, oh my gosh, I was terrible. I was horrible. And at no point did I feel like I was horrible. I always felt like I was like, I kind of had I felt like a year or two ahead vision of what I was as a player. But yeah, I want our team to have success. I enjoy our entire team. We've had such good chemistry. We've had such good ups and downs together. And knowing that we can compete with these guys is a pretty cool thing to experience, given the whole like, hey, a lot of us are all just like D3 athletes. Like we just went and played volleyball because we fucking like to play.
That's what I was going to mention about the chip on the shoulder. You know, Division III players playing against Division I professional overseas players. It's a cool dynamic.
You mentioned the interesting coaching style that you were brought up on. How do you think that impacted your career as a college athlete and now playing in the NBA?
Oh, long term, I think it was great. I mean, Joe made me someone that wanted to work hard individually. I want to show up early. I want to stay late.
All right. So is this all volleyball related, or are we going to have fun with this?
No, anything you want. Please have fun.
Is it pork roll or Taylor ham?
Pork roll.
Oh, okay.
When you're setting against other teams, do you scout them? And if you do, what do you look for most in other teams?
Scouting has been kind of tough because there's not a lot of video on the teams that we play, at least not reliably. Even if it's a team that we know we want to play, you might not know any of the dudes who's going to show up for a tournament.
You're talking about the NBA, right?
Yeah, NBA or even men's tournaments. I mean, any scouting for men's tournaments, you know, there's usually, I would say, like 3 teams at a tournament where it's like, all right, we got to show up against those guys. It's not easy to find a lot of footage to scout other guys. I do really love film. I think a lot of the guys that I play with would, know that about me. I like to look at plays at least 12 times because I want to see each play based on what each player on the court did, both on my side and on the other side of the net. I think watching film is super useful. I wish that after one season of the NBA, we'll have a little bit more ability to know who we're going in and playing against, but we haven't had that chance too much, really.
I was speaking to a couple of my setter friends that I have played with, and you being one of them. I personally wanted to know, what is the biggest trouble you find with a prominent right side, but just right sides in general? What's the biggest glitch you have with setting right sides as opposed to anything else?
I don't know. What I look for in the right side is just a dude who wants a nice high ball that's not supposed to be tempo. You can use it when you need
Dante.
to. No, not.
I'm out. I am out.
Maybe Phil, you can probably give your opinion on this from some international ball, but my opinion is that the right side is such an oddly approached position in the U.S. I feel like we underutilize it. I felt like a lot of the high level volleyball I watched, the right side's your best spiker no matter what. And essentially it's because if you want to run a relatively spread out offense, your right side hitter is going to get the most opportunities to spike the ball. Even if your right side is a really, really good outside. If he's your best spiker, he should be on the right side. It's the only position where there are 2 hitting positions for one person. Every other position is a different ratio, a smaller ratio, where like the middle is 1 hitting position for 2 people and the outside is 2 positions for 2 people, where the right side is, I have 2 positions. I am the only person on this side of the net. And if you want to keep the block spread out evenly, that should be the number one thing, is having your best spiker there.
You like those high ball opposites, those crushers.
Yeah. I mean, and if you can, and when you work tempo in, I think that's great. But like our guy, like John Lutz, it doesn't matter when he's on. It doesn't matter if there's a double block up. It doesn't matter if they throw a third guy. He's not going to hit a quick ball in system or out of system. Right. And he'll tell you, like, he thrives on the high ball. It also makes it a little easier. You get a little more wiggle room with like error on the set when it's a high ball. If it's off by 2 feet on a high ball, he has time to adjust to that. Where on the tempo ball, it's a lot harder to adjust.
If you're off by 2 feet on a tempo ball, you're a really bad setter.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I haven't played with you yet, Phil.
To Phil's point, I mean, Phil's played a number of years overseas. I haven't played as many as him, but in my experience, opposites want a quick ball. And like, they kind of have to have a manage between out of system, high ball, can still put it away. But in system, I've played with some guys that are like, it basically needs to be a middle 30. Just the
behind you.
And for me, it's like, okay, I mean, it's fast.
When I was really getting into volleyball, Clay Stanley was the man.
Yes, absolutely.
And Clay Stanley's not looking for anything crazy. He just give him a ball to go pound, and he's going to get you kills.
Think about how much pressure that takes off the setter. Because if you're trying to worry about running a tempo ball, if that right side's just like, hey, throw it up out there, it kind of takes the load off of you as a setter, and it's their job to just do something with the ball that you give them.
I'm a big fan of being really good at vanilla. Communicating in like any situation is the thing I would say that causes the most trouble. Like again, when I'm working with Lutz, I know he wants a high ball, whether it's a perfect pass or whether I'm 30 feet off the net. He doesn't have to communicate to me what ball to give him when the pass is in that intermediate zone where is it a tempo type situation or is it not? Whereas like with other types of players, like, you know, you're at that ball, like you're talking about, Kenny, where it's like, well, am I still in a spot where they want it tempo and expect it tempo, or have I moved to that out of system situation?
Yeah, and it's just like, it's playing with guys for long enough of a time. That's one of the benefits of these of Team Freedom in the NBA, is that in contrast to other teams in the league, that core group has been together for years. You know, you have the benefit as a setter of in those odd situations where it might be a gray area for a lot of teams, you probably know what's going on with your guys and what they expect. And that chemistry is just, it's been in the works for a lot longer. And I think that's a huge benefit going into maybe this season. Right?
Season 2021.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go for a volleyball trivia question. And that question is, when was the libero player introduced in international volleyball?
I have no idea. This is like some short person revolution. Had to be, I'm going to just throw a number out and say it was 1981.
That's a little early. I
have no idea.
Yeah. Correct answer is 1998.
Yeah, it was so close.
Nailed it.
Ron, I got a fun game for you. It's called Finish the Lyric. I'm going to give you 5 songs. I'm going to read a couple lyrics to you, and you have to follow with the next few words. And that could be like the next 3 words, the next 5 words, however many you can know. The first song is My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas. And the lyric I'd like for you to follow is Dolce & Gabbana.
Something wanna.
Nailed it.
That's close, right?
I was on the same page as you, where I just made sounds. Whenever this song comes on, I think I just like, and like, I found out today that the actual lyric is Fendi and Madonna. And actually, Dante McCoy knew this lyric. For whatever reason, he knew that. And I don't know why. Good answer, Dante. Good answer.
Dante, if I had to pick one person on the panel that would know it, it would have been you.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
I don't know how familiar you are with Kings of Leon, but the song is Sex is on Fire.
Heard it.
And the lyric is All the Commotion.
All the commotion.
Sex in the Ocean.
Hey, good answer. Good answer.
Bonus points for the rhyme there.
Yeah. So it's All the Commotion, the Kitty Like Play.
Nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that. All right, the next one's real tough. Really TBT here. It's a throwback. It's the Barney theme song. And the lyric I would like for you to follow is with a great big
hug. and a kiss from you to me.
That is absolutely correct.
Is that really it?
Me to you.
The lyric is me to you. Correct.
Got it.
Hug and a kiss from me to you. Very nice.
My man.
We have 2 songs left. Second to last is going to be Busta Rhymes, Look at Me Now. At one point in the song, he says, and I'm feeling like I got to get away.
Because you smell like real bad.
That's it. I think that's it. Right? That's the one.
That's it. Obviously that's it.
Nailed it.
Good answer.
Feeling like I got to get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. And I think a lot of people just mumble that part. And then the last song is Bohemian Rhapsody. And the lyric I would like for you to follow is, so you think you can stone me and spit in my eye.
Thinking something and spit in my eye. So you think you can love me and leave me to die?
Nailed it!
Oh, baby.
Yes.
I had to sing that
Very
one.
nice.
Excellent.
I really appreciate you coming on. Basically, our goal here is to try to interact with as many volleyball people as we can during the quarantine, see some familiar faces, talk volleyball, talk coronavirus, and talk as much professional level volleyball as we can. Especially with guys who are starting to play that. So appreciate you coming on, and I hope to have you on again. See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, buddy.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.